My dear students, today I am taking up the topic neural coordination. The term coordination implies harmonious working of various systems. In our body, we got so many systems: nervous system, digestive system, excretory system, reproductive system, like that. And every system has many parts. And all these parts of different systems must work in a coordinated way. Otherwise, there will be many problems. So, the unified action is brought about by two systems. You may be wondering why there are two systems in organisms. See, nature is known for economy. It doesn't waste its energy on different systems to carry out the same function. But here, the function is the same, but the method of functioning is different. The two systems that bring about coordination are neural system and hormonal system. Neural system or nervous system is made of nerves. The nerves bring about very rapid action. The action is immediate. There is no delay. Then the connection is from point to point. For example, from the brain to the endocrine glands, or from brain to the stomach, brain to the heart, like that. The connection is between point to point, from one organ to another organ. Then the nervous system elicits response very fast. There is no delay. It's very rapid in action. Coming to the other one, hormonal system. It is brought about by endocrine glands. Endocrine glands secrete hormones, which are also known as chemical messengers. The endocrine glands have no ducts. So what they do? They release their secretions into the blood. Blood flows to all parts of the body. So through the blood, different hormones are carried to various parts where they are required. One point we have to remember about hormones is that the hormones, though reach all the organs through blood, they act only on a targeted organ, only on a particular organ on which they bring about a response. But the hormonal action is different from that of neural action. I told you, neural action is very rapid, very fast. It proves no delay. But the hormonal action is very slow. Slow, only the actions that require no speed are under the control of hormonal regulation. For example, you take growth. We don't grow overnight. It takes many years to grow. Then the color change. Some animals change their color. It also occurs very slowly. Then you take example of sexual maturity. Sexual maturity also occurs very slowly. So the activities like sexual maturity, growth, color change, etc. are under the control of hormonal system. Now, let us take up the nervous system or neural system. You know that the nervous system is derived from the ectoderm. You are aware that there are three germinal layers. They are ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. So the nervous system is derived from the ectoderm. Here, one point you have to remember. In all the multicellular animals, except the puriferans, a nervous system is present. Puriferans are the only animals without a separate nervous system. And as the evolution progresses, the nervous system has acquired more and more complexity. In higher animals like mammals, you find a very complex nervous system. It's well organized. Then coming to the components of the nervous system, we come across three types of cells in the nervous system. First one, neurons. Neurons are commonly known as nerve cells. The neurons are highly specialized cells present in the body. They are also the longest cells, but they do not divide after we are born. So there is no regeneration of the neurons if they are damaged after we are born. Then we come across the longest cells in the neck of a giraffe. The neuron is many meters long in the neck of giraffe. Then the neurons are also considered as structural and functional units of the nervous system. In the next lesson, we will be knowing how a neuron conducts the nerve impulse. Then the second type is called glia cells. Glia cells are also derived from ectoderm, but they are non-neural in function. They cannot conduct any impulses, which is carried out by the neurons. So neurons conduct the impulses, but glia cells, though ectodermal, they cannot conduct any impulse. Then what is their function? They are supporting cells. They support the neurons in different ways. And they have another important function. That is, they produce a fatty substance called myelin. This is called myelin sheath. Around the axon, they produce myelin sheath. If this is the axon, each one is a modified glia cell. These cells are known as Schwann cells. Modified glia cells surrounding the axon are known as Schwann cells. Inside the Schwann cell, we find myelin sheath. Myelin is a type of fatty substance, a bad conductor for nerve impulse. We'll be studying more and more about myelin when we take up the transmission of nerve impulse. Then, the third type of cell is called microglia cell. The microglia cells are actually mesodermal in origin. They are derived from the mesoderm, unlike these two cells. I told you, neurons and glia cells are ectodermal in origin, whereas the microglia cells are mesodermal in origin. Then, what is the function of these microglia cells? They are non-neural. They do not conduct any impulse. They are phagocytic in nature. They engulf harmful bacteria and other microorganisms and help in the defense of the organism. So they play a very vital role in the safety of the animal. Then these are derived from one type of white blood cell known as monocyte WBC or monocytic white blood cell. They are highly phagocytic. They are also one type of macrophages, macrophage cells. So that is about the three types of cells we come across in the neural system. Then, neurons are again four types depending on their shape and arrangement. They are known as multipolar neurons, bipolar neurons, pseudo-unipolar neurons, and unipolar neurons. Thus, there are four types of neurons. First, let us take up the multipolar neuron. Multipolar neuron means it has many branches. The cell body, this is the cell body or cyton, it has many branches. This is the cyton. It has many branches. Out of them, one branch is very long. Others are very short. The short branches are known as dendrites. The long branch is known as axon. The dendrites and axon arise from the cyton or cell body, but their function is different. The dendrites transmit impulses to the cyton, whereas axon takes away the impulse away from the cyton. So there is unidirectional flow of activity or action potentials. So dendrites carry the impulses to the cyton, and the axon takes away the impulses away from the cyton or cell body. How they travel, we will find out in the next class. The axon divides into a number of branches. These branches are known as axon terminals. Each axon terminal ends up in a vesicle or in a bulb-like structure or in a button-like structure. These structures are known as synaptic knobs. So this cell is not the same. Synaptic knobs. The synaptic knobs, they contain neurotransmitter substance, which helps in transmitting the impulse across the synapse. The multipolar neurons are usually found in the motor neurons and in the central nervous system, that is the brain and spinal cord. The second type is called bipolar neurons. Bipolar means they have two processes. Here, there are many processes, many dendrites and one axon. Here, there are only two processes. That's why these are known as bipolar neurons. That means these neurons have one dendrite, one axon. Only one dendrite and one axon. So, this is the single dendrite and this is the axon. The dendrite conveys the impulses to the cell body, and the axon carries the impulses away from the cell body. Then the third one, pseudo-unipolar neurons. They are not unipolar, but pseudo-unipolar. From the cell body arises a single process and it divides into two branches immediately. The single process consists of both dendron and the axon. They travel to some distance together, then they separate. This is the dendrite, this is the axon. How to identify dendrites from axons? It's very simple. At the end of axon, we find synaptic knobs, these things, which are absent at the ends of dendrites. So in this way, we can easily identify a dendron from or dendrite from axon. So here, through this dendrite, impulses are received. They are conveyed to the cell body, and from there they are transmitted through the axon. The fourth variety is called unipolar neurons. These are present only in invertebrate animals like insects. They are absent in the vertebrates and human beings. From the cell body, only one process arises. At the end, it divides into two branches. One branch can be considered as dendrite, other branch can be considered as axon, because there are synaptic nerves. So in this way, the nerve cells or neurons are four types. Then, where do you find them? I have already told you, multipolar neurons are present in the central nervous system. That is, brain, spinal cord, and motor neurons. Then coming to the bipolar neurons. Bipolar neurons are present in the retina of the eye and also in the inner ear. We'll be knowing more about the bipolar cells in the retina when we take up the structure of the eye. Then, pseudo-unipolar neurons are present in the dorsal ganglia of spinal cord. Dorsal ganglia of the spinal cord. And the unipolar neurons are present in the invertebrates like insects. That is about different types of neurons. Then, let us take up a detailed structure of multipolar neuron, or a detailed structure of myelinated multipolar neuron. This is the structure of myelinated multipolar neuron. This is the cell body, or we can call it as the cyton. This is cyton or cell body. From the cyton arise a number of dendrites and one axon. In the cyton, we find a prominent nucleus. There are also a number of granules. These are called Nissel's granules. Nissel's granules. These Nissel's granules are actually made of rough endoplasmic reticulum and ribosomes. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, or RER, and ribosomes. These are the sites where protein synthesis will be taking place actively. Then, these are all dendrites. They divide into a number of branches. This is the axon. At the junction of the cyton and axon, there is a part known as axon hillock. Axon hillock. Axon hillock not only connects the cyton to axon, but it also coordinates various action potentials received through different dendrites. Thus, it plays an important role in coordinating all the incoming nerve impulses through different dendrites. This is the axon. At the end, the axon divides into a number of fine branches known as axon terminals. The axon terminals end up in a knob-like structure known as synaptic knob. Synaptic knob. I have enlarged one synaptic knob here. In the synaptic knob, the metabolic activity is very high. That's why we find a number of mitochondria. Wherever we come across a large number of mitochondria, it indicates that a rapid or active metabolic activity is going on in that part. Then these are called the synaptic vesicles. Synaptic vesicles. The synaptic vesicles store chemical substances known as neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters play an important role in the transmission of the impulse across the synapse. We'll be knowing more about synaptic transmission in the next class. So that is about the axon terminals and synaptic nerves. Then, coming to the axon, I told you it is very long. Sometimes the axon is naked like this. Such neurons are known as non-myelinated neurons. Non-myelinated neurons or non-myelinated axons. Here it is myelinated axon. Myelinated. The Schwann cells, which are nothing but modified glia cells. Schwann cells are nothing but modified glia cells. They surround the axon like a carpet. If you take a section of the axon here, somewhere like this, it looks like this. This is the axon. Around the axon, the Schwann cell surrounds like a carpet. It coils around. In the last coil, we find myelin sheath and also a nucleus. Myelin has great significance in the transmission of nerve impulse. Then, these Schwann cells are arranged one after one all through the length of the axon. They are arranged one after one. But between two Schwann cells, there is a narrow gap. This gap is known as node of Ranvier. Node of Ranvier. It has great significance again in the transmission of nerve impulse. Then, the Schwann cells are nucleated. These are nodes of Ranvier. Then, the part of the axon between two nodes is known as internode. So, internode is the part of the axon between two successive nodes. So in this way, a multipolar neuron is constructed and it receives impulses through dendrites and carries away the impulse along its axon to the synaptic nerves. So, this is about the arrangement of various parts of the nervous system. In the next class, I will take up the transmission of nerve impulse. Thank you.